He just gives us time to say hi to each other. That is a good excuse. I'll take. I will.
Chris is giving you excuses now.
Yeah, that'll do. He said that on one of the prems as well. Can everybody see us and hear us completely fine? Please let us know down in the comments, because obviously we ain't got too much of a clue. Anybody? Everybody? Can you all hear us? See us? Wow, you're early. We are early. Let me just scroll up and say hello to everybody. So, hi Chris. Hi Gemma. Hey Greg. Hey Strawberry Patch Tarantulas. Hi John. Hey Happy Ant, which is Callum. Hey 8 Legs and 4 Wheels, which is Greg. Hey Michael Taylor. He is also known as Michael Moist Taylor. Hey Cracks. Cracks is Exotics Radio Podcast. Hi James. Hi Amy. Hi Steve. Hey Matthew. Hey Cotswold Crawlers. Hey Arona Exotics. I hope I said that right. Did I say that right? Hey Lair. Hey Zach. I thought I had more time, said Zach. Hey Anton.
Hey everyone.
So we are back live today with fan favourite incredible inverts and other animals. What this guy doesn't know about reptile keeping and zookeeping pretty much ain't worth knowing. And literally one of the most modest men you'll ever meet. If you go to the majority of the shows, he's normally at his parents' stand.
Or walking around chatting or buying stuff.
Hi, hey D. Strawberry Patches. Her name's Katie. Hi, Katie. It's nice to know like people's first names as well as their YouTube names. That's pretty cool. Can't be a bit of moist, says Michael.
Michael off now.
You're not going to Newark Invert Show this Sunday though, are you?
No, I'm at Donny.
And just for hey, hi Claire. Arona's Claire. And the Tarantula batch is Katie. I hope I remember. Hey Mark, which is Converter Man. 8 Converter Man. Hey, Glorified Pet Rocks, which is Leah. Yes, I don't know if you want to just tell people what Donny is. For anybody that's in the chat, you might know what the invert shows are, but you might not know what Donny is. Hey, Stefan.
Hey, Stefan. Donny, the Doncaster Reptile Show. So it's run by the International Herpetological Society. And they put 4 on a year up at Doncaster Racecourse. It's a massive show. So it's not just reptiles, it's reptiles, amphibians, and inverts as well. So a lot of the big invert dealers go there. So I mean, just big mix of absolutely everyone. Sometimes 3 floors.
I did hear it was that big.
So I think it gets sometimes a bit too big sometimes. But it's the largest reptile show in the country. Like I said, they bought 4 year up at Doncaster Racecourse.
There's oh sorry, Lair's video is not working. I hope it works for you next time, dude. Hey Russell, which is RS Designs.
Hey Russell.
Hey, Amy's put the blue hearts up in the chat. So for anybody that's new, the blue hearts is Autism Awareness, and it is World Autism Awareness Week this week. Myself and quite a few other subscribers are affected by autism. So we like to make a big thing of it here, and raise as much awareness as we possibly can for it. Yeah, I'm going to the Newark show, the entomological show, and not Donny. The reason for that is I've had to make the hard decision of, sticking to the couple of reptiles that I've got at the moment, and staying just with those and expanding the inverts, because I feel if I went somewhere like Donny, I would end up getting more reptiles.
Yeah.
In a big way, and I really want to concentrate on my inverts, and I've got quite a lot of stuff going on. I need to learn as much as I can about those. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. As it is easy just to, as much as to say, don't impulse buy, we all do.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I think it's common practice almost, impulse buying. We say it so much about reptile hobby, but invert hobby, we 80% of us have bought a mystery box, which is impulse buying because you don't know what's in it.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of us that have been to the shows have also impulse buy. I do when I go to a show, because when I go to a show, I never take a list. I never know or even have an idea of what I want to get until I get there. That's pretty much it. Unless I've bought something, that I'm picking up there. I think you're pretty much the same as well, aren't you, Phil?
Pretty much. Sometimes I'll have like a bit of a list if there's like specific things I definitely want, like to pair up things or whatever, or if there's a bit of equipment that I'm like, I definitely need this if it's reasonably priced or whatever. But otherwise, most of the time it's like, well, I'll see what's there.
So do you know whereabouts roughly you'll be situated in Donny? What's the name of your stall, just for everybody?
It's Amazing Reptiles. So it's my parents' stand that do reptile, amphibian, invert themed toys and gifts. So Donny would normally right next to the bar.
Oh, perfect.
Sort of thing. So you have to walk past the stand twice. So we were one of the first ones that you see.
Amy's just bought a G. I think that's supposed to say G Rosa. Chris is getting a chameleon. Oh my god! Hope you're not gone for a Yemen male. Well, ours is a Yemen male, and he is an awkward chap, to say the least.
Yeah, Yemens can be, especially the males.
Glorified Pet Rock says, to be fair, keepers who already have animals that are well and correctly looked after, you'd rather it was us type who were impulse buying than a little 8-year-old Timmy and his mum at a pet shop. It happens, doesn't it? It happens.
Yeah. Well, it happens at the shows. Unfortunately, I know the guys at Custom Aquaria really well, and they often get people coming up to them going, well, I've just bought this gecko or this frog or whatever. How to look after it? Or like, is this tank suitable? And they're like, no.
Hey Pete, well, I got offered a male and female geckos, which were a rescue, because one of my friends basically took them in because his friend said, look, you either take them in or then they're going to have to be destroyed. Luckily, it was Peter Webster ended up taking them in because he's already got all the correct setup and equipment. I haven't got it. Oh, Crack says, I was reminded why you don't let your guard down around tarantulas. Uh-oh. Hi, Handy.
Andy.
We're literally just kids in a sweet shop every single time, every show. And I always give that answer for when somebody says, what's your favourite spider as well. It's like taking a child into a sweet shop and saying, pick a sweet. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
What's the best tarantula for a 13-year-old? He wants to be able to clean, etc. himself, so we'll put his hands. That's just shot off. he'll put his hands in sometimes to do this. Thanks. I'd suggest, Andy, if he's going to be putting his hands in there, that you supervise him. I know you probably would, but for anybody else that might be listening, more so for their benefit, I would pretty much go for something like a curly hair, because if he is in there doing maintenance and for some reason the curly hair does give him a bite, it's going to be an injection injury only. Plus, they tend to run off into a burrow rather than fight, and they'd rather flick hairs around, and they're pretty much bulletproof as well. I've done a care video on them, but that's what I'd say. But whatever he does, just make sure it's all done under adult supervision. We've got Layla here; she's 12. Anything she does with the spiders, I'm always here. Even though she's been doing it for 2 years now, but she's still in here with me. What do you reckon, Phil?
Yeah, same. Yeah, so that then Phil. I mean, Curly definitely up there, and I think a really underappreciated species as well. And they're easy and relatively cheap to get hold of. Leah's just put about Calcodes and Pulchra. They're both really good as well. Pulchras are a bit more expensive. So, but yeah, I always recommend curly hairs.
You could possibly go for something like hissing cockroaches, because that way he could get them out into his hands and get kind of a love and appreciation for those guys as well. Or isopods, stick insects might be another good starter if he hasn't got those already. Just wait and see if Andrew gets back. Glorified Pet Rock says, I have a question. At what point do you stop being a beginner? Probably a matter of opinion, but I'm interested in what your answer is, Scott and Phil. Do you want to go first on that one, Phil?
I don't know if you can really put like an arbitrary point on that, really.
I don't think you do. I don't think you do stop becoming a beginner, because you might get something. I'm just going to look at the Metallica because that's just here giving me a threat pose. But you might get something like a Metallica for the first time, to do all your research, keep it well, and all the rest of it, and then you're a Metallica expert. But then you might get something else like a GBB, which is different care setup, so you're a beginner again.
Constantly learning.
Plus, there's the added fact that when you've got a friend like Phill who introduces you to things like isopods, you then start getting isopods, and then you're a beginner again in those. So you're always a beginner because you're always going from one species to another species. There's always new information coming out as well. So I think you're always a beginner. Leave the expert status to the experts.
Yeah, and often if someone calls himself an expert, they're probably not.
Hey, Deadly Nightshade.
The amount of people I know that have far more knowledge than me always point back, say they're not experts.
If you're not always learning or getting new things, you'll lose the love of the hobby.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. It's not necessarily about getting new things all the. Hey, Jackie, all the time. But as long as you've got a good passion for what, hey Dale, for what you do have, I think that's what it's all about. I mean, things like OBT can be kept fossorially, arboreally, and terrestrial. So that's like, for me, that's one species where you can literally mix and match their enclosures, and you can see which one's progressing more, or doing better than the other. So you can do things like that to keep it all fresh for you if you want. Yeah, exactly, Andy. Which is spiders. If you're not learning, you're not doing it right. There's so much I'm learning. It's unreal. I'm talking to somebody that is an expert in the field, who I'm talking to, who's telling me that scientifically proven facts show that spiders can actually get all their moisture from food. So I've not released anything about it yet or anything like that because I don't fully understand it myself. When I understand it, I will put some more information out there. But I would always advise to use that water dish anyway.
Yeah. Plus as well, like, yes, they can, but the food we're feeding them, how much moisture is actually in that food?
When they come in a dried food container, yeah. There's that part.
Exactly.
Plus, there's the other bit where you go, okay, my Violosips is over there. She's in a decent size Exoterra. She could live in one half the size. She could live in one without it being bioactive. She could live in one without there being such a big water dish as she has got.
Yeah.
Hey, Dolly. But it's all about trying to make the tarantulas thrive. And I think it's a case of if you can give it to them, then do. Yep. And water dish, little plastic pot costs next to nothing. So why not? And plus, you've got the added advantage of you're doing something else with your spiders.
Yeah.
You're not just feeding, you're going in, doing maintenance, you're topping up the water dishes. And I've seen, I think the only spider that I haven't seen drink is an OBT. Apart from the slings, the rest I've pretty much have done. Thanks, Dolly. Appreciate that. I love the thrill of keeping new species. One of my new bee babies is a Pantho. Nice.
Oh, nice for you.
Snow. I've seen all my big T's driving from a water bowl, drinking from a water bowl. Sorry. Yeah, it is. It's almost a controversial subject because as soon as you put something on Facebook like I did, saying, "Look, you need a water dish," so many people then go, "No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't." And they also comment, "Well, where do they get it from? When there ain't no water dishes in nature." And it's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but yes, there is.
Yeah, there's natural water dishes. Little puddles on leaves, just puddles on the ground. But again, in our houses, in a glass box, plastic box, whatever you got them in, is a very different environment and often a lot drier environment as well. Especially if you're in a temperate climate and put heating on, that completely zaps any humidity out your room. So yeah, absolutely, yeah, water dishes, and it can be as simple as a bottle cap, which is then free.
That's a good one, Leah. Glorified Pet Rock says, do you guys find that any spiders you buy that were not actually on your wish list, ones tend to be some of your favourite? Do you have examples? I have a Diversipes sling, which I literally bought at the end of one show. And that wasn't on a wish list or anything like that. And I've fell in love with that little sling pretty quick.
Yeah. Right. I mean, not necessarily with Tarantula. Have I had any? I didn't want, but then I've loved.
Strawberry patch tarantulas. Victoria being rare is definitely just a sales pitch. If you look on somewhere like the Spider Shop website online or Creatures from the North, they tend to have a lot of the simulpace genus for sale. Hey, Derek. Derek is Reptile Innovations. Love him.
For me, it's probably my olive millipedes, my Dinopus Aiuti, which I didn't know I was getting. My mum bought some for me, and then I ended up breeding them. Pac-Man frog. Pac-Man frogs, don't keep them on coir. It burns them.
Burns them.
Yeah, it's too acidic.
Dead-eyed Dolly, about 270 now. Because every time you see him, though, Phil, on Facebook or TikTok videos,
Always in Koya. Not always in Koya. But it slowly kills him.
And whoever's filming them or talking about them says, "Look how chilled out my frog is. He's such a good lad." And
yeah, it's too acidic for him, so it actually messes with their water balance in their body. And if it's then really damp as well, it can cause burns on them.
Wow. What substrate would you advise?
Something more like a topsoil type thing. Avoid feeding them rodents.
You see that on YouTube again all the time.
All the time. It just makes them fat.
No wrong with being fat, Phil.
I mean, I am. Insects, and they are gluttons, so don't, they will just eat and eat and eat. So you need to control that, and get them moving around, and so because otherwise they will just sit there, do nothing, and eat. And then if you're feeding them every day, they're not using that at all. They're not using all that energy.
I suppose that's one of the most difficult things is getting them to move. But then again, that brings us back to keeping habits of keeping them in a smaller enclosure, which you tend to see a lot of as well. Maybe we should be going for a bit bigger one where they can get out and move.
Yeah, a lot of people. I don't keep Pac-Mans at the moment. I've done in the past, and a lot of people keep them in quite small things. So like, they don't really move. But you give them the space, and tongue feed them crickets and stuff, and they're like, you've got to move over here to come and get the cricket. They will move.
Oh yeah, they're all for food. I tend to find as well when they move, they've normally defecated in the area that they have been in before.
Yeah.
And plants. I've had plants in with them in the past, and they've just been destroyed.
They will probably just destroy them. I mean, Pothos, Devil's Ivy, may survive like the bullfrog at work. That's just got Pothos in with it, and hasn't destroyed that. That's one of the few things.
I think Pothos is amazing.
So that survives a lot of things.
Pothos is a type of plant, and it's probably referred to as a weed in its country of origin.
A lot of plants are.
Because the growth rate on it is incredible. The fact that you can just cut the stem off and put it into soil and it will root and away it goes.
Yeah.
For us,
if you allow it, it gets huge.
Yeah.
So I've got leaves of it at work that are bigger than my head.
I think Thomas has got one like a 7-foot vine on it.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's like something like over 2 meters long, whatever. But you allow it to grow, you'll get leaves that sort of size leaves on it.
Wow. Cracks has just said, "Phil, is that a tarantula on your wall?"
This one.
She's been away for a long time.
You get someone every time. It's not. It's an ornament. Oh, speaking of the devil, here's Thomas.
big head. I see some people tongue feed their tarantulas and others just drop the food in and the tarantula fine. And get it, are there pros and cons to either way? If you're tongue feeding, you've always got the chance that tarantula can, Spider King, that tarantula can actually run up the tongues. It's pretty rare for that to happen, but it can happen. And then the other con is the fact that if it strikes at the prey and misses it, it could actually try biting the metal tongs, damaging its fangs. I like to drop the food in there and stimulate natural behavior and watch the spider go out and hunt it down. But then I suppose if it's a dead prey item for something like a snake, then you need those tongs because you've got to move it to make it look like it's alive. What do you reckon to that one, Phil? Because I mean, I suppose you must use tongs a lot in the zoo.
Yeah, basically exactly the same.
Hey, Spooky.
Use tongs a lot, but yeah, don't actually tongs feed. I use tongs and drop just in front of the tarantula. So then, yeah, we've only got one snake at the park at the moment. It's very heavy duty tongs that we use, but actually it's more just actually tend to actually just place the food item in and stuff. I don't necessarily actually get it striking at the food.
I suppose if you didn't tong feed, I'm just trying to think of a negative to not feeding straight from the tong. So if you just drop the food in, there is a possibility that the food could be running around there for another week or two. If it's a cricket or something, probably could actually bite a tarantula because you can't get it back out. You can't see it's been eaten. Again, highly unlikely that'll happen, but it possibly could.
Yeah, you can get rubber tipped tongs a bit softer. You can also get bamboo tongs now as well, which are a bit softer.
I've used the entomological ones, the ones with the rubber. They don't grip the live food very well at all.
No, they're more designed for moving the actual invertebrates, so they're a bit better, like say for like grabbing a scorpion.
So
they're because it's a bit softer.
That's entomological ones. So you've got this section here is rubber. On a normal pair of tongs, this rubber section isn't there. But yeah, these I think if they made them with a grip surface here on the inside, or maybe segregated like in the back of a knife blade, you might be able to hold onto the live food a bit better.
Yeah.
But like you were saying, they're more for moving the animals, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, live food can possibly damage the tarantula while it's in molt as well. Nice one, Happy Ant. I use rubber tip tongs. They came in an aquascape kit. The worst possible scenario, says Greg, is loose food hurting your tarantula or scorpion. I wouldn't necessarily be too bothered with the scorpions as such, because they seem to be a little bit more robust. I've got porcelain cockroach colony in with a male and female scorpion, and they seem to be all right. Bought medium locusts for the first time this week. They're fun.
Yeah.
It's if you can get them hatchling locusts are the fun, because you literally get so many in a tub. You pop the lid to get one out, and literally about 100 come jumping out all over the place. Hey, Reese. Oh, no, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Don't panic. I have a tea that I think is in pre-molt, and it's in its burrow. I'm not sure. I can leave the crickets in overnight, check back in the morning if it came up and ate or not. It could be in pre-molt when they're down in the burrow. Depending on the size of the tarantula, if it's a small one, it could just simply be down there for protection. Or it could be down there digesting its last food, its last meal.
Yep.
Or, as you said, it could possibly be in pre-molt as well. I've got an OBT that's been literally webbed up her little hide, and she's been in there for 4 months, and she's not come out yet, not eaten, not done anything.
No, mine I haven't seen come out of it. This has got one of those exoterra skull hides. It's been over a year since it's come out of there. That I've seen anyway. It may have come out of there, early hours in the morning when I'm not awake, and every so often it just webs up, and every so often I have to cut a little bit of webbing just to like, are you actually alive in here? Yeah, you are. Cool.
I've got Utah Tawny, albostratus, Selica posmia species Saba, Lividerm, Lividus, Vietnam blue. These are all burrowing species which I literally never see. Never ever see, but there's still a water dish at the top near their burrows, and food does go missing.
Yep.
That's pretty much how I know that they're still there.
ASS.
And for peace of mind, what I do is I get like a medium-sized hisser and drop the hisser down the burrow, because obviously sometimes you can hear the crunch and you know your spider's eating, but at least with hissers they start hissing when they get attacked, so you know your spider's still alive down there. Greg says, I've been told that similar to tarantulas, if a scorpion is molting, it can be hurt by a prey item. Yeah, scorpions are literally pretty much as vulnerable as a spider when they're molting.
Yeah, anything that molts, I mean, I've even had assassin bugs get eaten by food. And so, I've had assassin bugs when they're molting, other assassin bugs come and eat them. So sometimes happens.
Not even when they're molting, assassin bugs can just smash them. Which, in that case, are they communal?
And so we don't call them communal. We keep them as large colonies, and you hope that you have enough to sound good. You have to have them together to breed them. And they don't do too well by themselves.
Again, look. Hey, Jamie, Home Zoo's here.
Hey, Jamie.
Got an Havoc molted 3 weeks ago, and her abdomen looks really small. Is this unusual for Havocs? She is the first one I've had. Normally, if their abdomens are small, they tend to be male. That is not gospel truth, though. Just make sure it's eating. But I wouldn't worry just too much just yet. Normally, if the abdomen is small and goes concave, that's when your alarm bells start ringing. But if it's still eating, and if you can catch it drinking as well, that you know it's going to be completely fine. How long ago did you say it had molted? We'll just go back up. Molted 3 weeks ago. Has it ate in the last 3 weeks, Cotswold? James here for some clout.
Greg had assassin bugs had 2 that molted to full out of, then 1 died literally hours later. Thoughts could be humidity, maybe, but then if it managed to molt fully, then probably not. Or could be that one took the opportunity, one was hungry and stabbed it.
I think, knowing Greg really well, I think his keeping is going to be on point. So
that's it. Yeah.
I would say just probably internal damage prior to the molt. Maybe it was already ill. Maybe the other one molted before it and tried to attack it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, could easy be there. There's a lot we don't really know about them. Hey, Jeremy.
Assassin bag bugs, for layman's terms, they literally stab into their prey and suck their innards out. So that could have happened, and that other assassin bug literally could have maintained its shape. Not much, Jamie. We're just having a chit chat, answering questions, animal questions, and when we've got phill here,
they're starting to colour up a bit now. Actually, the huntsman's.
Hey, Jeremy's here as well. Yeah, he's just basically said the same thing. Possible internal issue or opportunistic feeding. I think the stream might turn Scott and Phill into agony aunts, helping all up. Yeah, we're not experts, are we, Phill?
No, not at all.
But what we are good at is, if we don't know the answer, is pointing you guys in the right direction. And if we don't know the answer, we certainly wouldn't blag it and give you false information either. We'd literally just ask in the comments as well, because You guys are the ones that are full of information, literally. Tried feeding yesterday. The web is broken and the crickets seem to have gone, but I can't be 100%. Fangs literally went black 2 days ago. Yeah, that's the thing, Cotswold. When your tarantula molts, the fangs are white. This is when they're still soft. You have to wait for them to darken up before you feed. Because if they do go from while they're white, that can damage the tarantula's fangs. Hey, Emma.
Yeah. They need some help spicing up her sex life.
I need to start an OnlyFans, Leah. We'll talk about that after 9 o'clock because I always say, kids can watch until 9 p.m. and then it's at the parents' advisory because there is a lot of adult conversation and there is a bit of swearing goes on after 9. Michael Taylor normally hits the chat up along with Callum with naughty words. We all learn something every day, so no one is 100%, says Michael.
Absolutely.
I don't know, man. I mean, who could say, like, generally just turn around and go, I'm an expert? Andrew Smith can't because he openly admits he learns stuff out in the field all the time.
Yeah, everyone does.
Guy Tinsley, I've spoken to him and he said the amount he's learned out in the field is absolutely incredible. Volker, he's the same. He's continually doing research.
Oh, Jim.
Michael, that is why I refrain from saying anything else. Hey, Jim. Jim's just popped a tapeworm today, so got to get some dewormer tomorrow. The joys of working around dogs. Oh, pooped out a tapeworm. Oh, sick. Yeah. Well, red runners are a pain to get back out if they are not eaten. Red runners are a pain, full stop. They're great. Get a red runner colony, they said. They're brilliant, they said. Yeah, they breed like wildfire. If you take the lid off, and if one red runner is near the top, it's gone. And you try chasing it, and it's always a female
running around on my back at the Northern show. Don't know where it came from. Well, which stand it came from, but like, where was it? All of a sudden, he was like, "You got something on your back. You got something running around. What are you on about?" But those guys from Sparse Boys was like, "It's a red runner. You got a red runner on you, a tiny little red runner nymph running around on my back." I don't keep red runners, so he's not on the show.
I do purely because the hatchlings are perfect for the slings.
Oh yeah, I've got the redheads for that,
and I chuck them in with the baby morning geckos as well. And the Aki will eat with red runners like there's no tomorrow.
Oh yeah, they will, yeah. So Aki's really like the green bananas as well because they fly. Give Aki's flying prey, and they go absolutely nuts for it.
Flying prey?
Yeah.
That's a question I've got for you, actually, Phil, as it goes. I keep forgetting to inbox you. Can you remember when you bought your Atlas moths?
Yep.
I bought 2 at the same time.
Yep.
Mine are still yet to emerge.
I've had one emerge and one hasn't yet.
Nothing to worry about.
It can vary in time, so you still give it time. The thing is that none of them are guaranteed to emerge.
Imagine if Scott had parthenogenesis. I'm glad I don't. I really enjoy, the physicalities. As a whole, do you feel that roaches don't deserve their bad rep or deserve more love?
I definitely deserve more love. One of my daily tips at work is
just hate the red runners. Just hate them.
the almost any animal, probably, well, any animal with a bad reputation, I always say probably the opposite is true. So,
I've got the porcine ones up with me.
If we lost roaches, we probably wouldn't be able to survive ourselves.
That's true.
Sort of thing. If you like chocolate, then you need to like flies. If we lose flies, we lose chocolate.
Isn't there a certain percentage of beetles in chocolate from cocoa?
There's percentages of just invertebrates in processed food around the world.
Richard, Northern Exotic says I've got a bad rep. Does that make me a roach? How about is it McDonald's? I know it's publicised that they allow a certain percentage of fruit flies in their tomato sauce.
Yeah, we got to. You look at like the Food Standards Agency and stuff. They have the levels of what maximum amount of invertebrate matter is allowed in your food.
I mean, to be honest, who hasn't had a cup of tea and like drank half of it, seen a fly?
Well, that's it.
You know, you or swallowed one on a bike ride.
Especially when you keep various animals and you end up with fungus gnats. Get fungus gnats in the drink all the time.
Creepy Crawly says I've got 20 different species of roach, and I even love the red runners. Happy says he finds it hard to kill the dubias. Dubias are cute though, you know. When can I feed dubias to my large sling? Says Emma's little nippers. You can feed the tiny dubias, but what I would suggest is that make sure that it is a large grown-on sling, not just a large sling. Make sure it's grown-on sling. Maybe put one in, observe it, and if it can take it down and eat it well, then you're all right. If it can't take it down, then obviously stick to the prey that you were feeding before that.
Yeah.
I name one of my hissers Colin after my dad, says Gemma.
I'm not a fan. A few zoos have started doing this now every year around Valentine's Day. But it's to name a cockroach after your ex, and then they'll feed it to a meerkat.
Oh no!
And you give them like a $5, and I'm like, I really don't like that. So many zoos are doing that nowadays. As a zookeeper, I don't like that.
Phill, I love it. I think it's brilliant.
So
the idea of it's great. You know, all right, you pay a $5. That money then goes to the zoo, so that's a bonus. You know, your meerkat's getting fed. I can't see the harm in it.
For me, it's more that negative connotation of when then just putting on a negative thing of that cockroaches are horrible. So that's where I come by. I have nothing against cockroaches being fed to meerkats. That's fine.
I got you.
It's more the name it after your ex that you don't like, or after something you don't like, sort of thing, and that bit of a negative spin on it.
Yeah, apparently Exotics Lair did something similar. You're not allowed to even mention that guy on this channel. Even negative, bad publicity is good publicity for that guy. Shall we name a cockroach Scott? I think you should. That would be wicked. Name a cockroach Scott. Film it being munched by a tarantula. Send it to me, and I'll put all the clips together and put it on a TikTok. How's that? That'd be cool. And then I'll also post that same video to Scott's Inverse Instagram and the Facebook page. If you do that, send me the footage via Instagram or Facebook, or name it Tashi Twizzler. This year, Richard, we're managing to keep it. Although the length of the beard is annoying a lot of family at the moment. They're all going, cut it. And I'm like, no, I quite like the length of my beard. Scott looks more like an OBT. It's not ginger, it's brown. Not that ginger's bad. It's like brown and grey. When it goes all grey and I look like Gandalf, I'll be happy. Just with less head hair, is all. Seen today that guy cooked any unfertile tarantula. Oh,
I'm sure they didn't taste very nice.
no. it's only the start of the year. He's lying. Leah. It's Ginger. Well, it's not 9 o'clock, so I can't go into that conversation just yet. Is anyone else screen freezing? Amy, I'm watching because the comments on StreamYard take ages, so I'll watch on my phone so we can get the comments as you guys write them. That's not freezing. It seems to be all right. So maybe if you restart the app or whatever you're watching on, it might. Oh, I've just dropped my phone. It might help. Scott will soon be the pet to his facial hair. I'm trying to turn into Cousin It. It's not a beard Scott has got. It's a pile of rusty Brillo pads. I'm remembering this. Do you know what I mean? Well, Michael, there is one thing about the beards. They are moist. They are conditioned. Phil smells fruity. Mine smells rather minty today. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Couldn't it be oddly sexy, though? Are you going to Newark show, Glorified Pet Rocks? How many bugs are in that beard? I have a couple of Connollys going on in the beard. We have a Dubia Connolly on the left. And we have Red Runners on the right. Hey, Adam. Looks like a dodgy. Hey, Courtney. Adam, the inverted Barian. There's a decent guy. Adam is one of life's true gems as well, man. I'm worried that you know what Phil's beard smells like. I've smelt Phil's beard at a show.
Yes.
I advise anybody watching that if you see Phil at a show, go and have a whiff of his beard. I had a false widow in my beard once, says Creepy Crawley.
Nice.
They're cool. They're cool.
We've got false widows everywhere.
What a beard does do is it gives you the opportunity to go. Scott, you have some scorpions in together, don't you? What size enclosure? That size with your sticker on it, Greg. I've got them in those. I've got the red claws are in one half the size of that, though. They're doing pretty well as well. Oh, for the Bedford show. When? Oh, yeah, Bedford's not too long. BTS, Bedford, Bristol. Oh.
Yeah, Bedford's what, September? Isn't it normally Bedford?
I was literally like, my house is full of bees and tiny little jumping spiders. So I went, Callum, if you could do the boo,
Reese.
If you could do the boo for Glorified Pet Rock, Glorified Pet Rocks, that'd be awesome. Zach, I keep hearing about the BTS event. Is it a show like the invert shows or something different? Okay, so the BTS is the year's biggest tarantula show. There is things like Best in Show for different types of tarantulas and all the rest of it, where I don't go for that because I don't want to take a spider out of its enclosure to take it to a show to go, oh, look at my spider, to put it back in and to bring it back home, stressing it for no reason. But the BTS is the biggest show of the year. You get a lot of sellers there which don't attend the other invert shows. You get a lot of one-off sellers. Yep. So people that only attend to the BTS. You also get some big names in the hobby as well that attend. Andrew Smith himself, he'll be there. So you can go and chat to quite a lot of the BTS members as well. But it's just more about the size of it. It's absolutely massive. It really is a big, big show.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's the largest tarantula show in the world, I think.
Yes, Happy Ant, do the boo with the bees for glorified, please. I don't know if it still would be because the European sellers won't be coming this year, will they? Because of Brexit.
No, but it's still got 80 traders and over 200 tables.
I'll have to drop Fat Bob's Exotics a message and see if he's coming over or not.
And so, but I saw
See you later, Richard.
list Spiders Factory, who I believe are Polish. So they may, so whether he's worked out somehow of sort of coming over.
The what? Sorry,
Spiders Factory. I'm pretty sure he's Polish.
They are Polish.
And stuff. In fact, they're on the list. So whether they've managed to work out something for him to come over.
Maybe they've just put it on a bus and driving him over.
Sort of thing. Because I know when it was all kind of being, everything was being before, like, Brexit and all that kind of crap happened. I was going to the Pet Factory, who are their big German dealers and breeders. Like, on average, they've got over 3,000 species available.
Best in malt. Leah, that one's for you as well. Happy Ants just put the boo with the bees. So you put them together, and what do you get?
And yeah, he was saying like, yeah, to come over with their stock, they would have to come over 2 weeks in advance to a show.
Wow.
With all their stock.
Well, they don't have to bring all of it, surely.
No, it doesn't matter how much you bring. They'd have to come over 2 weeks in advance for it all to be checked.
Yes, I was. I'm gutted about Barnsley was a good show.
It was a really good show.
Barnsley was a very good show. Not
as
big
massive.
as what it should have been.
It wasn't like a big show, but it was still really good. My parents done really well that day.
No, my daughter has a football tournament on the day of BTS, says Zach. Football or spiders?
Yeah.
I'm not. I must admit, mate, I'm not the world's biggest fan of football. That's for sure. Hey, Darren. I'd be convincing the daughter that she should be coming to send mummy or the other parent to the football tournament. It'd be fine. That would be, for me, that would be such a nightmare if Layla turned around and said, I've got a tournament on the same day as the BTS. Which one are you choosing? That would be like the ultimate, like, what do you do? What would you do? Wife's working that day. Spiders, I am, mate. Armed with 80 bags of Yorkshire. Oh, Yorkshire tea, mate.
Hey.
Not really, Courtney.
And he's going to make tea for everything.
If you've got any animal keeping questions, inverts or reptiles, because we've got philia, drop them into the comments. If we don't answer them, just keep putting them in until I see it. My other half tested positive the morning of. I could have cried. I'll get you your PG tips. 8 legs, forgive me. And then Greg. Okay. Two minutes of safety left, and anyone with kids should use headphones or move the children, says Happy Ant. Yeah, pretty much 9 o'clock we do drop the odd swear word out. There is adult comments and stuff like that comes into conversation at 9 as well. So if you do have children, it is down to your discretion whether you let them continue to watch or not. And we've had the 9 p.m. watershed on Scott's Inverts for just over a year now. PG tips are okay. No, they're not.
Right.
They're not okay. There's Yorkshire tea or nothing. I did share you on my community tab, Scott. Thank you so much, Maria. I do appreciate people that have been sharing the content out. It does mean a lot. There's something worse than nags, James. That's snakes. Bear in mind, I use 2 PG tea bags at a time. I'd literally would rather have a cup of water than drink PG. Yeah, for those that have missed Barnsley, just try and get down to Newark this Sunday. Have a look for the entomological shows on Facebook, and you'll find the page. Phill, I blame you for my beetle addiction. I started off with Egyptian predator beetles, then I got blue death veining beetles. When I found your channel, I bought 6 more species. What do you have to say about that, Phill?
Good. Need more beetles in the hobby. Need more beetles. So, the beetle hobby in the UK has been very, very lacking, but that's probably because it's all about the substrate for a lot of beetles, and going out and collecting it sometimes isn't always the best. Sometimes you got to I'm attempting to make flake soil at the moment myself because flake soil is damn expensive. So I get jealous of all the beetle breeders in Taiwan, Thailand, and Japan and stuff. They get everything from their supermarket dirt cheap. And they got aisles in their supermarkets just for beetle stuff.
The flake soil is just the time it takes.
Yeah,
I think it's the time it takes. So Adam the invertebrarian said, "Hey Phill, did you have to show Scott your testicles? He demanded to see mine just to get him to do an interview with." Yeah, Adam did an interview with Scott's inverts. My God, it was a year and a half, 2 years ago now. And Adam did send me a picture of his testicles. I normally see Phil's testicles in the toilets at any show, any of the invert shows, pretty much.
I got 2 millipedes from 2 different boxes, different types. What, Emma? What species of millipedes were they? Were they adult?
Is Amy popping off? I missed the comment. Sorry, Amy. Night, Amy. Phil, any thoughts about 2 different species of millipedes dying at the same time, different enclosures? You check for mites?
Depends on species. What species of millipede were they, and were they adult at all? Certain species produce quite a lot of cyanide. Originally, if it's not well ventilated, that can kill them. If they're adult and wild caught, you don't know how old they are. Anyway, what were you feeding them?
Huh? Just wait to see if Emma gets back to us. I feel cheated on now, says Adam.
Giant and Bumblebee last Christmas. So yeah, giants. Giant trains, if they were adult, they could have just been really old. I bred giants years ago, and to get giants up to that size took me 5 years. So when you're buying giants that are adult, they're like 10, 15 years old.
To have 2 different species die in 2 different tanks.
Could be some substrate. Could be. You know, if you collected anything that had been sprayed and you didn't know about it.
Adam says possibly contaminated food if two died.
You know,
And what was your first ever reptile, guy? Said glorified pet rocks. Oh, what was my one? I think ours was the morning geckos. Yeah, ours was 4 female morning geckos, which have now turned into quite a few.
I literally found both dead at the same time. Sounds like they may have got poisoned by something, whether it be if you put any kind of fruit veg in there that perhaps been treated with pesticides. Yeah, or if you put anything new in the enclosure that may have had something on it.
Darren says is a typically a good selection of beetles at the invert shows. The entomological show that we're going to on Sunday will have a lot of pinned beetles. If you're into pinned inverts, and if you're going to buy one, always question where they come from as well, because some pinned and some you'll see in the little packets as well. Normally, scorpions have actually been taken from the wild and killed for the reason of pinning. So always question a seller before you buy. But with selections of beetles, it depends, because the spider shop tend to breed their own beetles. So when they've got a few in,
they breed a few and they get some in. The insect farm are primarily beetles. That's often really good.
Yeah, hook up with the insect farm and get on the spider shop mailing list.
And stuff, and then I know Tony Webb, Venomous Visions, he's looking at doing more and more beetles as well.
I've had some right funky predatory beetles off him before. Literally, he said, I don't know what the species is, but they're here. They were green with gold on their back and white like little white stripes. So awesome. Yeah. So, Thomas, fantasy geckos. I love pinning inverts, but yes, always ask where they come from. He mostly does butterflies and moths.
So, but I said to Liz, my first ever reptile was a leopard gecko when I was 7.
So when I was that age, all I could do, we had a goldfish, and we had like we were never without a dog, but we only ever had one dog at a time. Does that make sense? Yep. But all I could do was literally watch things like David Attenborough and nature programs and more nature programs and more nature programs.
Yeah, and I had various pets as a kid, and it was reptiles that really got my attention mainly. But had a pet dog, had rabbits, had guinea pigs, had gerbils, had hamsters, had all that lot, and then came the fascination with reptiles. I've got the first ever gecko. So I was at sort of around 25 years ago now, and the way we kept it then, I would certainly not keep it like that anymore.
Emma, I'll see you later, Adam. He's got a lot of stuff on before the old boogie heads to bed. Scott, why do people use GIMP to describe a missing appendage? Emma, I think it was just purely the spider shop.
Yeah.
I don't like the terminology at all. I prefer to say it's got a missing leg, or it's got 7 legs, as opposed to calling it a GIMP. I think the word GIMP can be quite offensive in the way it's used to describe tarantulas with missing limbs. What's your thoughts, Phil?
Oh, as far as I'm aware, it's purely TSS. That's all doing that. They will purposely do things sometimes to annoy people, because it gets people talking about them. Like, leave for it.
They were selling the giant Brazilian blondes, and they had a picture of a Brazilian lady on the larger scale with scales with blonde hair. And I was like, oh, you can't do that, man.
Yep, they do that all the time. They that one, Robin actually won the Newark shows actually, and Vicky was there. Because he doesn't tend to do those ones, so he sends Vicky, and now him between Lee and Sam, they had labelled up half of the hissing cockroaches as cockwombles. So she's there putting them out on the table, and they're labelled up as cockwombles.
Yeah, and if Layla saw that and went, Dad, what's cockwomble? I would have something to say. So Emma says she doesn't find that amusing because she has a disability as well. Yeah, exactly. It's not. It's definitely not the best way to describe something, and the only way we can change it is by people gently messaging or gently. I feel like my sense of humour and yours, Scott, may not mix, says Leah. Yeah, there is a sense of humour though, but then there's what the masses see. If you get me, you know, well, what's funny for one person is offensive to somebody else. And as a seller, I think people have got a responsibility to mark things up, maybe in a humorous way, but without being offensive. Which I suppose it can be difficult, but to call them gimps ain't all. I don't think. I think there's a couple.
I mean, a better term is B grade.
But then that's suggesting a tarantula without a leg is B grade or a second. So somebody with a disability, again, it's just easier just to say missing limb, or just put 7 legs or something like that, or maybe if they speak to some of the people with disabilities, they might have a funny name, but that what they don't, but not might not be necessarily what they find offensive, you know.
Possibly, but again, you also find with that actually that
matching nature sounds
necessarily actually across what I think Adam Hill's on a sketch on that actually, when because he's got one leg or he's got one foot, and what he would call himself jokingly in America, they don't recognise it at all.
Nope.
And so he had done a whole sketch on it of like, no, oh no, we'd refer to you as this, and he was like, well, that's really offensive to me. Sort of thing.
But like I said, the only way you're going to change that name is by not being aggressive in when you ask or mention it to them. Just be polite and say, you're going to change that in the future. And the more people that say that, the more chance it might get changed. There's being humorous and there's being offensive to the masses, says Darren. People with disabilities may take massive offence. Some may not, but you've got to think about the masses. Yes, very true. Very true. Gemma, that's exactly what went through my mind until somebody pointed out to me, you know, a guy in a gimp suit with a ball in their mouth is exactly what went through my mind. And I was expecting to see a tarantula in a leather suit with a ball with a gag on.
If you go on the website, that is the picture for it essentially. When they put them up on the website.
And this is where we discover where the perverts are.
A couple of years ago, they were handing out their own branded condoms at the BTS.
I've had a few of those. I thought we don't kink shame here. It's definitely not. Definitely not.
Big difference between the races.
Who is going to the Newark show anyway? Anybody that's watching going Newark, anybody going Donny, I'm going Newark, so come say hello. Phil will be at Donny, so make sure you go hook him up with a big hello and a whiff of his beard. Hey, Robbie.
Hey, Robbie. And he was able for Chris Fenn to be in the box.
Yeah, exactly. What's a ball gag, said Steve. Message me privately, mate, and I'll send you some pictures.
Hey, relaxing nature sound.
Definitely strawberry. Oh, Andrew's off to Newark. Come grab me, dude. Come say hello when you're there.
God, if you're going to Donny, I'm at Donny. So you can meet me at Donny if you want. As well as BTS.
What's that, Newark? The inverts. I'm looking forward to Newark because I think I'm going to spend a bit more time than what I normally do having a look at the pin stuff. Because
it can be really interesting.
Because beetles, you've got a lot more patience than I have. Take a long time to breed. They take a long time for them to go from larvae up to adults and all the rest of it.
Oh yeah, I won't see an adult beetle for 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. At least with pins, you've got them, and that's it. You know.
But that's why, the beetle, I think, it'll probably never be as big as like tarantulas and other inverts and stuff because they have a lot of work. And it can be heartbreaking if you spend 2, 3, even 4 years or even longer raising up some larvae, and then they emerge at different times to each other and they die before they get to mate. And you're like, well, I've just wasted those 5 years or whatever. Because I
want to go to a show, but I don't like the crowds. There's normally a calf like attached to a lot of the shows. There's fire exits which you can go out of and go and get some air and then come back in the same one as long as you've got your wristband on. But there's always a little escape routes away from the crowds at the shows as well.
Yeah, if you're in Wales, Bristol's probably the closest show.
And Bristol's awesome. Probably the third best show of the year.
Hey, Tarantula Life.
Hey, Tarantula Life. Which is also a Facebook group, so make sure you hook them up.
If you go in a latex suit with a ball gag, it'll give you space walking around the stalls. I wouldn't put it past seeing at the BTS. You can do see some sites at the BTS sometimes.
Or you'd get stalked by Phil and Victoria. One of the two. Oh dear. Or serve last just to keep you there. You know. Hey, Lizzie.
He's now saying she may go to the BTS naked. Hey, Lizzie.
Lizzie, would Phil be asking to put a lead on the person dressed up in the suit? Lizzie. Scott, Phil, do you have any pinned inverts of any kind? Not currently, Thomas.
Yes.
I might look for a few at this show on Sunday.
I've got framed leaf insects in my bedroom. There's a framed scorpion in there as well. And then I don't know if it's here or in one of the sheds at my parents'. I do have a box of some pinned stuff, and somewhere I dabbled in it a little bit myself, but didn't really do it all that well.
No, Courtney, because it's. I mentioned it a little while ago that if I go to somewhere like Donny, then that just means more reptiles, and I really want to kind of concentrate on the few of the reptiles that I've got on my inverts more than getting more reptiles, you know. And I know what'll happen. Do you have a favourite tarantula you would like preserved when they go? Yes, Mark. My favourite tarantula is all these here, all these over there, and all these over here. Mexican half and half. Is there anything special I need to do for it? What's a Mexican half and half? That sounds like a name of a pet shop to put on.
That's the Victoria, isn't it? The Seven Post Victoria, I think.
Mexican though. I wonder if
what's it called? Staff and Ball tarantula.
I don't know. Yes, Courtney, you got Newark shows on Sunday, as well as Donny. James, I'm still tempted to get a tokay gecko.
Yeah, Seven Post Victoria.
No, pretty much standard. Just keep it exactly the same as you would in a Murnia. A boreal with damp substrate and ventilation. You're good to go. Do you sell, Scott? Plans in the future to go down that route, or is it just a hobby for you? I wouldn't say it's just a hobby because I absolutely adore it. I have bred tarantulas before. The last lot, I normally just give them away, to be honest. My curly hair slings, they all went to fantastic tarantulas. I've got a few things that are paired up at the moment, but I'll probably give the whole lot away to one of the sellers, one of the smaller sellers. That's what I normally do. We'll just have to see. I don't plan on becoming a breeder and trying to make money off it or anything like that. I purely love just keeping the spiders. We have got the Vilociceps paired at the moment. They produce quite a lot of slings. But I've took Emernia slings and OBT slings to shows in the past and just gave them out. I like to do that. Steve, Mexican half and half sounds like a sex thing. I swear, all my subscribers, Phil, are just perverts.
Yep. I mean, it takes one to know one.
It certainly does. It certainly does. Anybody need a mature male Myra? Manusive one says spiders. He's in the UK. Nah, and we're proud, says Glorified Pet Rocks. we're liking Leah more and more. I wouldn't say soppy, mate. I just appreciate people. Yeah, Tarantula Life does. He's over in the USA. He does breed a lot. If you want to see what he breeds, check his channel out.
Just answer Darren's question. He asked favourite animal in the zoo. I have two favourite animals: the rhino iguana, Carmen, and the female red-breasted Turco, Rosie.
I never planned on making my hobby a business, but then I thought, why not make a small living doing something you actually like?
Absolutely, yeah. Because that's on the 6th of April. Am I right? 3P. His website goes live.
What, creepy crawlers?
Yeah.
I don't know. Creepy crawler. If you drop me a PM, I'll quite happily stick it all over my YouTube community.
I think it's the 6th of April. It's been put up on Instagram a lot. looking really good as well.
Oh boy, my Blue Death Franivate beetles have just laid. Am I right in thinking I'm not going to have success?
You can, I've got mine.
Gav's having pretty good success. He's got them to the size of mealworms at the moment.
Mine are about Moria worm size.
Impossible inverts. Phil's got them to Moria worm size. That sounds like you're pretty good to go there, Phil.
And stuff. It's just I need to build an incubator for them. And stuff, that seems to be the key. I'm speaking to Guy Tansley on how he done it. Because everyone's done very different to each other, but also very similar to each other at the same time. So there's so much mixed information of how everyone's done it, and no one's actually replicated how they've done it yet. But hopefully,
hey Natalie, says hey from the Muckle family. That's subscribers from TikTok.
Hey Natalie, we're trying to get from Donny.
That sounds like a good thing to go. Actually, we did mention doing a collab or something, didn't we, about 2 years ago? But yeah, definitely Tarantula Life.
So, I'm planning to get some plants for work from Donny.
Hey zombie.
For a big dart frog tank that I'm planting up at work. And then, so I'm not going to get any I don't keep any reptiles in my flat. Because of where I live.
Are you allowed to?
I am, and I'm not. basically, the owners of the park, directors, they don't mind. They're quite happy for me to have reptiles up here. Our vet was sort of like, any vertebrate animal that's on site needs to be treated under zoo veterinary, and whereby then the zoo pays for it. And I'm like, well, it's not fair for work to pay for veterinary care for my animals.
That is not a screaming cat. That is my son, who's not very well at the moment.
Victoria does want lots of reptiles. That's right.
lots of reptiles, lots of fish, lots of spiders.
Yeah. I've created a monster. So she's got a list of what to do. So we're probably coming back with a car, which is already even gone like I can keep reptiles and amphibians at her place if I want. So I was like, well, don't tempt me because that will happen otherwise.
Victoria will be waking up in the morning going, I physically can't get out of bed because Phil has put a lot of animals in here. No worries, Leah. Don't worry about apologising. 3 reptiles and maybe 1 invert. Nice. I'll message you. We can talk about the detail. Yeah, no worries. It's not Leo. It's not the autistic one. It's the younger one. I was supposed to get to work for overtime this morning at 6 o'clock. I got there at 6:30 because he kept me and Tara awake most of the night. He kept Tara awake all night, and I do mean all night. When I got up for work, she literally, her eyes looked like piss holes in the snow. When I muted the chat, muted my microphone, she actually come in and she was like that. She was like, oh, "I'm going to go to bed early." I was like, "Yeah, go on." Scott, do you have teas in your bedtime? Do you mean my bedroom? Not yet. I would if I was allowed. Put it that way. Thank you, Courtney. I'm breeding the geckos. I've really been enjoying this as a tarantula life.
Nice.
Yeah, Noah's one of them. He's a happy kid. He's always smiling. He's always like wants hugs. A bomb could go off next to him and he'd laugh and smile at you. But when he's ill, you know, it's the end of the world for him. When he's not very well, the whole street knows. The rest of the time, he's just a happy little kid. That is, that is very true. That is very true. She's going to kick my ass on Sunday when I come back from the show. That's for sure. Just like she did last show and the show before that and the show before that. But I've always got logic on my side. I've done a lot of overtime. Can you hear him? Literally, look. You think Tara was literally like strangling him to death? My bedroom is my tarantula room, but I take over the kitchen side most nights for feeding. Andy, as you know, this is my kitchen.
Yeah, I don't keep anything in the kitchen yet, but it may happen at some point.
We've got the spiders, snakes, and that in the kitchen. Morning geckos, tokay geckos, some other bits. In the front, we've got the chameleon and the aki at the moment. She wouldn't let me have a tarantula themed wedding, but what she has said is we could do each table for the dinner as like a spider name. So I've got, so we can have the Brachypalma table, the Taliti cattle table, Sarmapea's table, Theraposa table. Well, that sounds good to me.
Well, yeah, no.
My tarantula's just moved into their bedroom. I've got a tarantula in the bedroom, living room, and a C. elegans living its best life somewhere in the flat. It's a Spider King. Yeah.
Mine in the lounge, and I got a few things in the bedroom.
The wedding favours slings. That sounds like a good idea to me. Well, everybody's got their dream, and my dream is to like get YouTube to kick off enough so I can literally rent a room somewhere that's twice the size of the kitchen and keep a lot more tarantulas than what I do at the moment. Yeah, tarantula life. Yeah, she shied away from the YouTube a bit because of the bullying and that, but she still comes and helps me in here, still does a bit. She loves Danny Demon with the keeper cards to bits. But apart from that, she's doing like after school clubs and she's doing jiu-jitsu at the moment and Muay Thai.
Yeah, Natalie, I'm going to Donny.
Luke going to Jamie and Danielle, which is the home zoo, are also going. Yeah, Phil's off to Donny. I'm off to Newark Invert Show, which is the entomological show, which is not advertised nowhere near as much as what it should be. I don't know why Warren Davis don't try and get it out there more.
Yeah, it's not. I think it's as well because like so many groups, like for whatever reason, don't like him and just ban him from their groups all the time. And like,
no, Gemma, not. She weren't bullied because of YouTube. She had a bit of bullying going on at school, and it just knocked her confidence in life general. Since then, she hasn't been on the channel. She pops her head in sometimes with some of the lives. That's about it. We tried to get her to do a couple of videos by herself, but she's got interest in other stuff now. She plays a lot of computer games, and she's got a head in a lot of her schoolwork. Her homework. She'll do her homework, and then she'll add to it, so she'll do extra. Monday to Friday, every night. She's training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu twice a week, Muay Thai 3 times a week. So she hasn't got a lot of time, to be honest, either. Oh, thank you. How many tarantulas do you both actually have, Scott and Phil?
No, I've got less than you.
It's. I've said it before though, Phil, and so have you. It's not about the numbers. It's about the passion behind it. What you got to remember with Phil is he lives in a zoo.
Yeah.
His passion is in that zoo. His passion is with animals that the average person can't keep. I've got. I think it's about 270, 280 at the moment. I'm trying not to buy any more slings, but because they're always cheap, they always fit in budget. Yeah, Gemma. She experienced a lot of bullying, to be honest. And then me and her mum have been into school, and I'm not exactly the type of person to stay quiet if a family member is going through a bit of trouble. If you get me. How many tigers are in your garden, Scott?
Okay.
None, Steve. There's a few.
I've got around about 41 tarantulas.
Tarantula life, my son couldn't care less about my animals. So I was lucky because the other half loves the morning geckos, so that keeps her interest.
That's it. Well, yeah, I've got 2 tigers over there. Well, I say there is 2 tigers over there. They're not mine.
They certainly are, James. But when you have parents that go in and say, this doesn't, we don't stop until the bullying stops. We do not stop putting pressure on you until the bullying stops. And we will go to the local papers, national papers, and the governors, failing all attempts to stop the bullying. Daddy here will knock parents' door. It's up to you. And so far, it's working at the moment. Luke. That is the hope. That really is the hope. Courtney, you're dead right. This is one thing I would always say. You can have 100 tarantulas, and they're really well looked after, and then somebody else can have one, and it's poor care. There's quite a few things that come off the back of that. It's like you can be in the hobby 30 years and not keep spiders correctly, and you can be in the hobby 10 minutes and keep spiders perfect, and vice versa. Oh God, Leah, yeah, exactly. The thing with Layla is it's like trying to teach her that if another child's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, for her just to keep a gob shut and carry on doing what she's doing and not go, you're not supposed to be doing that. Do you know what I mean? She does make herself a target sometimes, unknowingly, but she's top of the class and top of everything she does at school, so she's always going to get jealousy. And these kids, the kids that are bullying her, they're like 3 lads, and she's a girl, and she's 1.5 foot taller than them. So it's only a matter of time before she literally just turns around and goes, bump. Courtney says, my partner's never kept reptiles, so supportive and learning about them all the time. Yeah, you see, Tara's the same. She's supportive. She chats to, she's got a lot of subscribers as close friends now as well. But she is supportive. She comes to shows and that. She talks to more people than what I do. I hated school and I still think about it now. Sadly, my old school has been in the new a lot over the last couple of years. What was that? Oh, nice. Nice, Andy. Let me just scroll down.
Where do you get your dinosaurs from?
Tarantula Life. I've got 500 tarantulas at the moment, but that's including 2 sacks. See, Tara's not a fan of tarantulas. She's definitely not a fan of the centipedes. Definitely not a fan of centipedes. Been in the hobby over 20 years, still learn stuff every day, getting new species. You see, I mean, the spiders that I thought I've been keeping correctly, and then I've gone to do a care video and done a bit more, because I always do research, always double check what I'm doing is right before I put the video out, and then I've gone, oh, sugar, I need to correct something in the actual enclosure, because something new's come out, or something new's been discovered, or a name's been changed.
Oh yeah, things haven't like that all the time. I mean, you can do a video, release it, and then the next day, the revision gets released of a name change.
It's little things as well, like, you automatically think of a desert species, like a desert scorpion, and you think, oh, that must be 100% dry then. And it's like, oh, no. You do need to give it quite decent humidity through night time.
Yeah. And what a lot of people sometimes forget.
Zero regrets, isn't it?
A lot of desert species burrow down quite deep, where then it's actually quite humid. And so, or they'll be found underneath a bush, but underneath that bush, it can actually be quite cool and quite humid.
It's strange how you just think, Scott, look at my message up. Message on where, Thomas? Insta? We should have a quick look on that one. No. Look at my message up. Is that in the chat, Thomas? Can't find it. I can't find it, Thomas. You have to put it in again, mate. I can find be right back, someone's calling me. That was from Thomas.
Night, Leah.
Oh, night, Leah. Three years ago, I never would have dreamed about keeping spiders or creepy crawlies. I think that goes quite a few people. I never thought I'd have centipedes ever. Never ever did I ever think I'd fall in love with a centipede and really like them.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. Another misconception about desert species is needing high temperatures, and as deserts can get very, very cold.
But their creatures normally burrow away from it.
So, all depends. I mean, you got Mongolia, the Gobi Desert, gets to minus 30 degrees. That's a desert. So it will go to plus 50 degrees Celsius.
Good night, Greg. Take care.
Good night, Greg.
Same time next week. Certainly will be, fella.
Good night, James.
Night, James. I've had my curly hair a whole year now. Wouldn't trade Charlie. No, there's quite a couple of spiders that I've got. I don't think I'd ever get rid of. Michael, we're going to be ending the stream about 10 o'clock because I've got to get up at stupid o'clock in the morning for work tomorrow. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Michael. I mean, it's like sort of like misconceptions on desert animals. Is sometimes we misunderstand thinking that an animal's a desert animal when it's not a desert animal. Classic example is leopard gecko. They're more of a forest animal.
That is very true. Because 9 times out of 10, you see the setups and they're set up like they're in the desert.
Yeah. A person knows on who has gone out to India and he's found wild leopard geckos, and he's found them he usually finds them in the forest, on moss where it's like 95% humidity.
Fantasy Geckos has literally just sent me a message. Thomas said, very exciting news. He's just got off the phone with headsandtails.com, who are one of the world's largest taxidermy collectors. And they've just bought over 50 butterflies and moths.
Nice.
That's cool. That is cool. Shame you can't fly down for the show at the weekend. Oh, creepy. Hold on, mate. creepycrawlyuk.com is the website.
Yep.
It's not live until next week.
For millipedes, as long as they need the same conditions, then yes, you can keep different species together. But they need to be able to, need to make sure they can take the same conditions. So they come from basically similar areas of the world, or they come from the same country, the same area, then yes, you can keep them together.
The Spider Shop millipede, is it millipede mashup? The £50 mystery box of millipedes. That's normally a good one for what you're looking for there.
You just need to make sure that that they need basically the same conditions as each other.
Got over my arachnophobia because of an LP and a pokey, but was still scared. Got my first tarantula because someone took the mick about being scared, so I handled one and fell in love with him. Disclaimer: I've never handled him again. It was only just the once. Yeah, none of us will promote handling, although we've all kind of had to do it at one point or another.
We've all done it at some point. So sound mix. Yeah, sounds good to me.
Tarantula Rookie says, random question: who offers some of the best advice for bearded dragons? Phil?
I can give you. It depends what you want to know, but I recently had a good conversation with the beardy vet who studied beardies in the wild in Australia over the course of years. So, beardies are arguably one of the most neglected pet reptiles. And where they're very misunderstood animals.
Tiny amounts of substrate when they can burrow.
Yep, they do burrow. So, almost most beardies in captivity are overweight.
And you want to be keeping them a bit more like similar to an Aki, those temperatures are different.
I mean, temperature, really high. I mean, the highest temperature recorded in basking was 60 degrees Celsius surface temperature. Now, he doesn't recommend that in the Viv because that is hot.
My Aki is at 40.
You're aiming at like 40 to 45 degrees Celsius as a basking area.
I'll put this one out to you though, Spider King. Do you also think too many people have fat spiders as well? Do you think we overfeed them in the hobby? I've heard people
a lot of animals in general we do.
A lot of people say they'll feed all their spiders twice a week, whereas I do All mine are done once a week, apart from the adults, which are done every 2 weeks. Spiderlings, a lot of people do theirs 3 times a week. I do mine twice. Yes, they grow slower. Will they last for longer? Is fundamentally what I'm trying to look at.
Oh, you grow they will live longer.
Do they come across enough food to eat 3 times a week in the wild? I very much doubt it.
If you want to, there's a good Facebook group for beardies. It's called "How Not to Slay My Dragon." It's an offshoot of Advancing Herological Husbandry that will give you some solid advice.
One of the butterflies, Thomas is, which is Fantasy Geckos, is just pinned. So that's a butterfly that's passed away, and Thomas has put it into that position, which looks pretty cool.
So, yeah, Darren's setup sounds pretty decent to me. Instead of 6 inches of substrate, yeah, at least 6 inches, 12% UVB. So, yeah, 12 to 14% UVB. You want, decent. For basking, give them a halogen bulb. So, halogens are for a Viv are pretty much the only thing that's going to heat a reptile actually effectively.
I do have an Aki, Courtney, yeah.
As we now know that things like heat mats and ceramic heaters don't heat your animal, so they're useless as basking.
It's just the ambient temperature.
So I mean, it heats the skin. That's all it does. So
I got advised.
Your animal bask underneath like a ceramic heater. It's got to sit there for hours trying to get hot enough.
It's a deep heat bulbs, isn't it? That's what I got advised.
They only really heat the skin. They don't go much further. They don't go much further down. It's been found.
What are you thinking then? What is it?
Halogen.
UVB? Just halogen.
Halogen for heat. Halogens.
Because the Aki's got the deep heat bulb. It's got the ceramic.
Yep. So there's not much difference really between the deep heat projector and a ceramic. There's not a huge amount of difference. As deep heat is arguably slightly better than ceramic. But again, that's more use it for your ambient temperature and like temperature at night time if you need some nighttime heat.
Courtney, yeah, no worries. The temperature of the Aki is at 40 degrees, and I let it drop down to about 30 over night time.
Yeah.
Linear
UVB. Yeah.
I normally spray it at night and then first thing in the morning.
So for UV for bearded dragon, definitely T5s all the way. And stuff and
Nana's bags of inverts. I was recently told by Swale and Life Foods for you will soon be able to get LED UV for our reptiles at affordable cost. As you know, Lizzie, it's already there, but they're just ridiculous prices at the moment. Yeah,
and they're rubbish. They're absolute rubbish. They've been tested independently. The ones available on the market are rubbish.
Is that Frances Bain? Did she test it yet?
Yep.
Frances Bain is literally like the leading figurehead for independent UV testing and light testing. Full stop. What she says literally goes. Yep. Throughout hobbies and zoos as well, Phil.
Oh yeah. Us zoos, we utilise her a hell of a lot. So to the point that in 2019 we gave her Biaza Raw gave her personal lifetime membership to Biaza for all the help that she's given zoos. So in advising us on UV lighting. So but yeah, she's tested the two. Currently, there's two, reptile safe LED UVB bulbs on the market in the UK, and she said both of them are rubbish. essentially. To put it in nicer terms, but yeah, both of them are rubbish. Not worth the money. And they're a lot of money as well. They're, you're talking nearly £200 a bulb. And it's not going to do anything. Sort of thing. So stick to the T5s. So eventually we're going to have more decent UVB LEDs. The technology is there. It's going to come eventually, but at the moment,
hey, Joffy.
Literally, someone asked, "Well, why have these two companies come out with, these products?" Then she's like, "Well, just the one that came with it first, just so they can say they were the first. That's all they care about, is being the first one to do it. They were the first company to ever bring out Reptile UVB. It was rubbish.
Night, Michael.
But it's just so they can then say we were the first. You can't dispute that." So yeah, for UVB, for big enclosures, stick to T5s. Arcadia and Reptile systems. Yep, replace them. Yeah, the T5s do last longer than
the chat back.
If you've got a few reptiles, get yourself a solar meter 6.5.
Is that the one Northern Star?
That tests the index, the UV index. So then you know whether you're given the right zone for a start to the animal. But they do cost like £250 to get one.
When it Reptile systems with the zone.
They call theirs the zone. Yep.
Bum, bum, bum. I think that's the easiest one to discover, because if you've got a zone 1 light, that's the animals it covers. Zone 2,
you just got to remember that all the animals there, that's all based on 30 centimeters away from the animal. So if you're going further than 30 centimeters away from the animal, you really need to be checking your lights.
What do you think to the T8? Says Lizzie.
They have their place, but they are a bit rubbish. There's a lot of flicker in the T8s. Like you put a camera up to it, and you'll see how much flicker there is in the T8, and what is that doing to the animal. But they can be all right for low level UV.
Royal Pythons, Darren, are in zone 2. But like Phil said, that's 30 centimeters away from that light bulb.
Yep.
Hey,
that's why you come to the zoos, and you'll see sometimes we'll have units that have 8 T5 tubes in it. Because we're perhaps having it 1 meter, 2 meters away from the animal.
Surely having 8 in it though will just spread the light, not make it more concentrated.
After a while, so you get more and more.
Will that light
with the reflector, but you're focusing it in and stuff. You'll perhaps have multiple units over an animal. And stuff. So you can get some really good levels with it. I mean, was it painting for their Aldabra tortoise house? They put, I think they put 8 tube units in for theirs.
I will check Insta for you, Tom. Question for everybody: would you rather be in a fish tank with a shark, or a large fish tank with poisonous tarantulas? I'd like to be in a large fish tank with poisonous tarantulas because they don't exist. Venomous tarantulas, on the other hand. I think I'd rather be in the fish in the fish tank with a shark because it's over in seconds if it's hungry. Oh, Thomas, where are you?
The bowl was 4 foot long, and the height of the bowl is 2 foot from the dragon. What bowl would you reckon on a beard? Get the 14%.
Thomas has just sent me a picture of his pinned butterfly and moth collection.
Oh, wow. That's awesome, Thomas.
That's not even half of it. I know he's not pinned the other half. Is that an atlas there? Yeah.
Some tarantulas can swim. H. gigas has been documented swimming.
Don't go putting a swimming pool in with your H guy.
Oh, yeah. No.
There was a thing going around probably about 2 years ago now that H. Gigas literally almost lived underwater as well as in a burrow, which is just completely false. You're gonna see in the wild, you're gonna see animals doing things that they're not supposed to do.
They're going to be doing it everywhere. I mean,
does it mean that's what they do full stop and that's how they want to live? It just means that on that one particular occasion, it was caught doing something out of the ordinary. You know, humans do it, you know.
So, I mean, I've seen one zoo that done a paludarium for their Brachypelma hamori. That was interesting.
Huh.
With Mexican pupfish. How's this going to work?
It's not. Oh, D's off. We'll take care. Yeah, I think we're coming to the end of the stream myself.
Yeah, Arcadia 14 are really good. You've got Reptile System Zone 4 as well. Basically, for UV, they're the two. Arcadia and Reptile Systems I tend not to look at any other company because they tend to be absolute rubbish.
Yeah, I think it is time, Phil, unfortunately.
Yep.
If the Bubby hadn't kept us up all night last night, I think I would have stayed on a bit longer and the rest of it. And if we didn't have work in the morning, my next video is coming out on Thursday. We're looking at sling care, more particularly sling pot care. So your traditional sling pots and how I look after my tarantula slings in those. When's your next one out, Phil?
If we get it edited and stuff, tomorrow night. I just need to edit it all together, and that'll be a Mantis Den unboxing.
Oh,
from the raffle prize that I got at the Northern Show.
Oh. And if you are not already hooked up to Incredible Inverts and other animals, which I like to think you all are, if one of the moderators could please just drop Phil's link down into the comments. It'd be great if you could all pop off if you've not subscribed to drop Phil a subscription. That would be pretty cool. Have you just put it in yourself?
Yeah.
There you go. So Incredible Inverts and Other Animals has just dropped the link to his channel down. Go give Phil a subscription. He's a great guy. If you see him at a show, go say hello. He kind of looks like the biker Viking from Hal, but he is a lovely, lovely guy. Go say hello, go sniff his beard, and definitely go buy some bits off his parents' stand. He's going to be at Donny. He's going to be next to the bar. So if any of you are going to Donny, make sure you head to the bar. Go say hello to Phil at the stand. Like I said, make sure you whiff his beard.
Yeah, I'll be there. So hopefully Tina Deeply see Victoria be there with us as well.
Awesome. Victoria is another one with a fantastic channel that definitely does not get nowhere near enough recognition. Probably because some of the stuff is very niche, but it's awesome. Some of the stuff she does on algae is like amazing to watch and just to listen to and just to understand. You know, and her addiction to sea monkeys is like no other.
That's it, yeah.
But yeah, Courtney's going to come see you on Sunday.
Yeah, see you Sunday, Courtney.
For anybody that's going to Newark, come grab me. Got channel stickers. I'll pass you some of those. Yeah,
I'll have stickers with me, of course. Yeah,
be awesome. But thank you so much for watching. If you've been here since the start, even bigger thank you, Phil. Thank you so much for coming back onto the live.
Cheers for having me.
Normally, if we get a question which we ain't got a clue about, we go Phil, and that's generally every Tuesday. He is literally a mountain of knowledge. But cheers, everybody. Good night and stay safe.
No, everyone.